A roguelite I've had my eye on for a bit finally left early access and released into 1.0. And with it, I finally decided to play it, and it's Roboquest. This is a game I've actually had for a while, as the devs were kind enough to share a code with me, but I never really had the time to commit to it. So if you're watching, devs, thank you for the code. Sorry that it took so long for me to play. Firstly, let's look at the people who made this game. It was made by the dev team Rise Up Studios, who were founded in 2014 in Lyon, France, and it's composed of 22 people total. They've made a few other projects that are on Steam with very little reviews, but they're all VR-only projects and were made in 2020, which was right before their Roboquest demo came out. And while we can safely assume they decided to commit to making Roboquest, which was a good idea in my opinion, because this game is great. But what is it? It's a first-person action roguelite where you play as a rebooted robot and battle through multiple levels, with each level having multiple arena-style rooms you need to fight in, and ending with a boss. The game has 4 chapters total in a run, and a win and run seems to last about 45 minutes to an hour. As of making this video, I haven't cleared a run, but did make it to the final level in about 40 minutes. Inside, the arenas remind me a bit of a classic Doom or Quake game, really, with how fast-paced everything can be. Every arena has enemies you need to fight, and they may drop health items or a regular gun, but in between the levels, the game has a handful of NPCs with people that heal you, upgrade your guns with power cells, which is one of the game's currencies, and just give you more items in general from a box. The game seems to have a lot of little side quests and collectibles that you can find in each area as well, which will help you keep playing, as you have a lot of different pathways you can choose from, and each path has a different boss for you to fight at the end of it. And then lastly, inside of a run, you also level up, of course, as time goes on, and each time you level up, you can choose an upgrade for your character. Really, there's a lot inside of this run, and it is very, very addicting to play. Now, outside of the run also has a pretty good hub world, I'd say. You have your meta progression upgrades that buff a lot of the NPCs in terms of giving you more options, more HP, or even buff the chances of weapons having an alt fire. And all of that's upgraded with meta progression with golden wrenches, which you find inside of a run. I'll say I'm not 100% sure how you find them, as they just kind of appear in runs at times, but my best run, I got about 40 wrenches from it, so the progression won't take an egregious amount of time. And outside of meta progression, nothing really stands out for the outsides of a run, but you can change your character, difficulty setting, and add co-op. Outside of a run, maybe simple stuff, but what I find to stand out early on is the amount of variety this game offers. Inside your run, you have a crazy amount of weapons, upgrade options, level options, and even a good amount of unlockable characters, which aren't even that hard to unlock. 6 hours in, I've unlocked 4 characters, and every character has a different ability and melee weapon, which all have different upgrades as well. And I love that every single run I've done, I tell myself I've found my new favorite weapon, as I keep discovering new weapons that I love to use. It also seems weapons are either energy based or magazine based and have unlimited ammo, which I'm a fan of for a game like this. And while playing this game, some people have asked me if the game is hard. In general, I find it to be a little hard, as endgame levels do have a lot of enemies and a lot of bullets and projectiles are flying at you, but the more you play, the better you get at evading all of it. What the game does offer is power crystals, which have positive and negative effects. The game has 6 crystals total, and each one has different positive effects towards the end game. But the main crystals you have, the more enemies you'll need to fight, mostly elite enemies, which is a very unique way to do difficulty enhancers, I'd say. It's much more interesting than the general enemies have more health, enemies do more damage, stuff costs more money. It's nice to see that you have some positives for doing these difficulty enhancers. Really, overall, I like this game. The art style reminds me a combination of Hi-Fi Rush and Borderlands, which have some of the most unique art style in gaming. And then the gameplay reminds me of classic Doom and Quake in a roguelite form. It is a little hard, yes, but the runs don't feel monotonous, and the amount of variety with the guns, characters, and good meta progression make for a lot of fun, and I can easily see myself playing a lot more after an initial victory. Hopefully I can keep playing, as there's just so many games to play right now, but this one was a nice surprise out of nowhere for me. Some would consider it a little pricey at about $25 US, but for the amount you're getting, I say this is a shooter roguelite well worth picking up, especially if you're a big fan of shooter roguelites. There's a lot of them, and I feel like this one could be the top of that genre. And of course, shout out to the devs again for the key earlier this year. Sorry that it took so long, but thanks for watching this quick little video on Roboquest. An extra special shout out to the people who support me on Patreon. It really means a lot, and your support helps more than you know. And yeah, that's all. I'll see you next time.